Hey guys, what's up? I'm here with a review of an anthology horror film, a low-budget anthology horror film from 2013, and tonight's movie is Night Terrors. You know, the poster and everything as always, but I have my copy of it that I got signed by the director and guest director, so that's really cool. I met them at a Horror Hound weekend just a week ago, and yeah, they were really cool guys. So I'm hoping that this movie is going to be as good as, or as nice, or I want to say as nice as those guys were, but as awesome as those guys were, I guess. So this movie is basically like, I don't want to say it's kind of copying Olaf Ittenbach's The Burning Moon, but it kind of is. In Olaf Ittenbach's The Burning Moon, it was about a brother telling his younger sibling about horror stories, because reasons. This one, it's about an older sister who's telling her younger sister, her younger brother, horror stories because she can't go to a party. And each segment of the film is one of the stories, like in The Burning Moon. I'm hoping that this will be as good, or at least as gory as The Burning Moon. God damn it. But it does say on the front, hardcore on the gore. And it's coming from thewickedchannel.com, so I'm hoping that this thing is as awesome as it looks. Let's watch. Okay, so this movie is divided into basically 4 segments. The wraparound segment being about the older sister telling scary stories to her little brother, and then the 3 stories she tells are the other 3 segments. The first segment is Massacre on 34th Street. And it wasn't obvious by the fact that there's a freaking Killer Santa on the poster and cut in DVD art for this movie. I'm guessing you were supposed to assume that this is like the best, biggest segment, like probably the director's, favorite segment. And really, this movie's like about a killer Santa Claus who goes around killing people who don't appreciate Christmas. And mostly, it seems like the people that don't appreciate Christmas are people who are fans of punk rock, apparently. The first segment is still really, really good. Not in a classical sense. When I say good, I mean in a just entertaining sense. The second segment is called Baby Killer, and it's probably the weakest segment in the film. I wouldn't say I hated it. I definitely thought it was pretty good. Well, pretty decent. And it's basically, and I feel like this one's a little bit out of place, because the other 2 are like absolutely fantastic and perfect for a movie like this. The middle one, not so much. The middle one has to do with a scientist who is experimenting with like stem cells and other stuff like that. Excuse me. He's like experimenting with stem cells and stuff like that to help save his dying daughter's life. And, that seems a little out of place here, even though it eventually gets to the point where he's like kidnapping people and stuff like that and killing them. So I guess it kind of makes a little bit of sense why it's in there, but it's still, just with the description of it, it just still feels kind of out of place here. It honestly feels a bit like something like Eyes Without a Face, or Mansion of the Doomed, that one movie that's like Eyes Without a Face. Excuse me. It's like almost 1 in the morning and I'm filming right now. The third segment, which is probably my second favorite in the film, is called Abstinence, and it is about a flesh-eating like STD virus that's going around a college campus and basically turning them into kind of zombies. It's kind of like a combination of Cabin Fever and Return of the Living Dead 5: Rave to the Grave. and I will admit I like the movie. I like Return of the Living Dead 5, Rave to the Grave. I think it's kind of underrated, even though it's really, really terrible. I like it. It's easily the second best segment in the movie. Obviously, if you are not a fan of like low budget, cheap, old, violent, like VHS horror films, then you would not like this film. This film, it was even, it even says at the beginning of the movie that there's like, that apparently they took the movie and put it on VHS and then like copied it on VHS with all the like, you know, kind of static and stuff and put it on DVD. But I'm going to assume that they put in the effects themselves and they basically put a kind of filter over it and added certain things to make the movie look like it's on a VHS tape, which I mean, easily, that could easily turn a lot of people off for this movie. And I could definitely see why. But I still kind of like it. It gives the film a bit of style. The acting and writing and effects, I'm pretty sure were all like intentionally bad and cheesy, because they're pretty entertaining. Good deal. I should stop filming at like 1 in the morning. So, yeah, cheesy writing, effects. The characters, as you could probably guess, are pretty flat. The camera work and lighting here are actually probably the best the best aspects of this film. I was genuinely surprised how good the lighting and camera work in this movie, how good the lighting and camera work was in this movie. I was genuinely surprised. This movie was made on a budget of $5,000. And I mean, with everything but the lighting and camera work, it definitely shows. The sound mix is also kind of decent. The soundtrack here is okay. The soundtrack to Massacre on 34th Street is probably the best soundtrack out of any of the segments because it's got a lot of punk rock in it, and I'm a pretty big fan of like punk rock and rock and roll and heavy metal, stuff like that. I really don't have any complaints. I would definitely say this movie is not for everyone. Because if you're going to go into this movie expecting like trauma levels of just campiness, you are going to be sadly mistaken. This movie is not as fun as Trauma's movies, as like a film directed by Lloyd Kaufman, but it's still fun. On the gore meter, from 1 to 10, 1 being something like 1 being something like Nosferatu, and 10 being something like Brain Dead, Night Terrors is easily maybe a 5, a solid 5. It's kind of gruesome here and there, honestly. You know, even though it says hardcore on the gore on the poster art and DVD art for this movie, I'm not going to complain. I really didn't expect it to be super gory, and it's not super gory. But I still genuinely like this film. I picked it up at Horror Hound Weekend for $10. $10, and got it signed by the director and co-director. That is fantastic. Alright? Because you can get this movie on Amazon as well. But on Amazon, it's $12 plus shipping, not signed by the directors. I got this for $10. It was definitely worth it. I would definitely say this movie is worth picking up for about $10. Yeah. It may be because I also got it autographed that may have another reason. May kind of change my opinion on it a bit, but I don't know. 4 out of 5 stars. I really dig this movie. Well, not extremely, but you guys get what I'm saying. I like this movie. It's pretty fun, entertaining. Definitely, I'm definitely glad to have it in my collection. So anyway, guys, if you liked the video, like my channel, be sure to like this video, favorite it, whatever you want, and maybe subscribe perhaps. I would really appreciate that. And check the links in the description below. There are links to things like my Tumblr, Twitter, all that, Facebook. All that is in the description below, as well as Rotten Cotton t-shirts, where I get my horror film t-shirts like this I Drink Your Blood t-shirt I'm wearing right now. This is available on their site for like 15 bucks. It's a pretty good deal if you buy like 6 or 7 shirts, and you get it. And if they're like under 20 bucks, you can buy them all together as a package, and you get it for like 70 bucks. And it's a really good deal. It's where I get my horror film t-shirts. And be sure to check out my friend Chloe, her cosplay and makeup tutorial channel. It is in the description. She always does something really interesting, really cool. And I guess that's it. I'm signing off. You guys have a good day, good night, good whatever. Peace.